All right. Hey, Councillor, how you doing?
Good morning, Sean. I'm doing well, thank you, and happy Thursday, I guess
Happy
this
Thursday.
is.
It's a nice day out. So
Absolutely beautiful, yeah.
we'll get you all the Facebook questions in a moment, but first we'll start off with a couple things. We got some money, right? And we'll talk about the condos on Dundas Street. So let's talk about some funding that Waterdown and Flamborough received.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I know this is something that residents were quite concerned about in looking at the the costs to the municipality for COVID, which every municipality has been hit very hard. We, have been looking to the province and certainly to the federal government to provide some funding. And the good news is that it did come through. I'm going to just touch on it briefly. The total amount of funding from both the federal and provincial governments is $4 billion. That's billion with a B. And it's a one-time assistance. Now that one-time assistance is going to be shared amongst all the municipalities within Ontario. So there are 444 municipalities in Ontario, of which Hamilton is one. So $4 billion sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but the breakdown very quickly is 777 million will be coming from the federal government and 1.22 billion from the province, which will be for essential services. So like homeless shelters, food banks, and for public health. And I would suggest that probably the bulk of it would be tied into public health. Further to that, there will be $2 billion dedicated to transit from the federal government, and those costs will be shared equally between the federal and the provincial governments. So $2 billion, that's $1 billion from each of them. And again, it's one-time funding, but absolutely essential. We were really staring down the barrel of some fairly significant tax increases for 2021. And in our budget, and our budget runs from December, from December of 2020 to March of 2021 is when we do our budget deliberations and figure out just, what do we need to balance our budget. So I'm absolutely thrilled that we have received this money. I'm on the national board for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, which is municipalities right across Canada. And the organization is called FCM. And they have been incredible at lobbying the federal government on behalf of all municipalities. We've had lots of meetings. I was in Ottawa last week with MPs. And, certainly our mayor has done a tremendous amount of work over the past several months of, lobbying for this money. So I'm thrilled. It's come through now.
Is that helping to paint our fire hydrants?
Yeah, I had a number of people saying, what's with the white fire hydrants? Yeah, so they're all being repainted, and they're not ghost fire hydrants. They are actually connected. You don't have to worry about that.
So practicality, is that the funding that's coming is just going to help us not with a big tax hike? Are people in Waterdown and Flamborough going to actually see practical things in town and around to see what's the money's going to be spent on?
That's an excellent question. Some of it, of course, is going to be dedicated to specific things. We don't know what those specific things are just yet, but I can tell you as a very feisty councillor for Ward 15 in Flamborough, both for the rural community and for the urban community, I am certainly going to be pushing for projects that are going to serve the broader geography of Hamilton. So not just, any specific to one area. I want to make sure that the rural community and that our Flamborough community gets the fair share. And I'll say Waterdown Flamborough because Waterdown is the biggest urban area.
So we'll get to some of the Facebook questions, but first, Dundas Street, the Vibe condos, obviously that's a big construction project in town. How's that going?
So, I haven't had time to really go on Facebook, as you can imagine, but I understand there have been some questions about the condo towers. There are 3 towers that are going to be 12-story, 15-story, and 17-story. And then there are 3 additional towers which are going to be around 5 and 6 stories. So altogether, there are 6 towers. And, you know, folks, these towers were approved back in between 2002 and 2005. So these are not just recently approved. The City of Hamilton did not approve them. They were fought and opposed at the Ontario Municipal Board hearings back in 2003. And, you know, the city did not want to see all of this building going on throughout Waterdown until the bypass was built. So, and, you know, they wanted to say, okay, let's do infrastructure and let's allow some home building, but let's do it in phases so that the infrastructure, the roads, et cetera, could keep up with the amount of houses that were being built. And we lost that argument. The hearing judge voted against the City of Hamilton. We lost. And that is why you are seeing all of this building happening. It is not because the City of Hamilton has said, yes, let's build all these crazy houses and do nothing for the town of Waterdown. Come on, people. So it was the Ontario Municipal Board that allowed it. There is nothing we can do about it. That happened, as I say, back in 2002 to 2005. And so what we are seeing now is the building on Dundas Street of those condo towers.
Okay, and you mentioned the bypass. I know we had a couple questions on there. There is one good portion of the bypass that is paved. The road is in there just north of Nisbet. Do you know what the continuation plans are and what construction is like?
Yes, so, and thank you for raising that. The section of the bypass is complete, and it is from Wimberley, which is just Wimberley, just north of Parkside Drive. So from Wimberley over to just east of Babcock, that section is open. And if you want to see what the whole bypass is going to look like, go and see that area, because it really is quite beautiful. Beautiful multi-purpose bike lanes, walking lanes, boulevards, all of that is just beautiful. The section that is going to connect that to Centre Road is being constructed by Country Green, who is the developer for that area. They are working on it. They are waiting for a permit from Conservation Halton, and it has to do with the underground streams that run through there. They are wanting to get that section hooked up to Centre Road by November. The next section, which is going to go from the east side of Centre Road all the way across by Alexander Place and swing down to Parkside Drive, that is going out for tender in December. Construction will start as soon as possible in hopefully February, March, by April at the latest. And that section, which is the main section that will connect down to Parkside and over to Avonside, is going to be completed by the end of 2021. And that is the section that we really need to get the congestion off of Dundas Street. I hope that's helpful.
Yes. Tara on Facebook asks, is there any chance the lights could be brighter and are updated in Memorial Park around the greater walking loop? Is it dark lights there at night maybe?
No, the LED lights that have been put in there and that certainly the province has approved and the municipality is putting across the entire city, the lights actually shine straight down so that it's not diffused lighting, but it is concentrated lighting. But I can have staff look at that because the lighting should be bright enough. And I'm not sure what time of the evening this person or people are going walking that are having difficulty. But if it's dark, it's going to be fairly bright. But regardless, I'll have staff take a look at it. And I appreciate the question.
And Michael asks, new Catholic high school in a growing community. We need one. Is that possible? Is there any talk about a new Catholic high school in town?
Yeah, the Catholic high school has been in discussion for an awfully long time. That decision is really up to the Hamilton Wentworth Catholic District School Board. It's not up to the municipality and it's not up to the public school board. It is up to the Catholic School Board. It is my understanding that they don't have anything on their horizon for the next 5 to 10 years. I have had conversations with them, but this would be 8 years ago. And I'm hoping that they will take a look at the building that is continuing to happen. And Right now, it is St. Mary's down in Westdale. That to any folks wanting to go to the a Catholic high school would need to be bused down there. So, but I would encourage anyone who's in the Catholic board system to please reach out to your trustee, your Catholic trustee. They're wonderful folks to work with, and please do let them know of your concerns and ask them those questions and see when they're going to be built.
And Liam asks, are we ever going to get sidewalks on any of the concessions? I guess that would probably be a pretty big project, wouldn't it?
Sidewalks on the concessions, wow. I would say not anytime soon. You know, certainly it's a safety issue, but on most of the concessions, and I'm not sure if they're talking about concession 5 or if, you know, a specific concession, but you know, with rural roads and concessions, you have very deep ditches. And so that would be a real challenge to put sidewalks in, especially where you have some deep ditches, and it would be a safety factor. I would say the answer is no.
And let's see, Doug asks, Golden View parking situation. I don't know if that means there's cars parked on both sides or there's can't be parking. I'm assuming it's crowded parking on Golden View.
We have had some complaints, I would say, over the last 10 years from different areas of Waterdown, particularly where there's new builds. I can't hear you, Sean. I've lost you. Hang on. Oh, there you go. No, you're fine.
All right.
Yeah. So, you know, the thing that I ask folks to remember is if there's parking on both sides of the road, that is a natural traffic calming that forces cars to slow down. If you take the cars away from both sides of the road, you are literally creating a raceway. So if there's no cars parked on the road, I don't know where people would park, because when you have a townhouse, you've only got spot for, you know, one in the driveway, and you're supposed to have a spot in your garage, although most of them are being used for storage. And so that is why people are parking on the street. But if there's enough residents that do want to change on their street in terms of the type of parking, whether it's, you know, alternating sides or one side only, then just contact my office, and traffic engineers will take a look at your street and see if indeed that is something that we could look at doing for you. But I'm quite happy to do that.
And somebody asks, update on fix or update the splash pad at Memorial Park. Is it broken? I know we brought our.
No, I'm not sure what that means, because the splash pad has been open. In fact, it was one of very few that were open across the city. So, you know, I really championed that we need to have one open in Waterdown. And I'm not sure. I was there yesterday and it was working. So
maybe a more elaborate big splash pad.
It's a pretty good splash pad. You know, I'm happy that we have it.
Let's see. Somebody asked, so why do we have to go to Hamilton Mountain Police Station to do an accident report?
So you don't have to go all the way to the mountain. If you want to do an accident report, you can go to the Dundas Station, which is just at the bottom of Sydenham Hill. Some of the newer residents to our area may not realize that, you know, if they've never been to Dundas, but there is a very small police area there that you can go. It is only open, I think, from 8:30 till 4:30 every day, Monday to Friday, to go down there. If you want to fill out an accident report outside of those hours, such as on a Saturday, then yes, you will have to go to the Hamilton Mountain. And that is because right now there is only the Division 3 location up on the Hamilton Mountain, on the West Mountain, services all of Ancaster, Dundas, and Flamborough. And I have spoken about this before, that we are getting a new combination police station, fire station that will be built in 2021, 2022 in Waterdown. And it will have full-time firefighters and police officers dedicated to our area, as well as Dundas and Ancaster, Flamborough.
So speaking of police, somebody said, what's the purpose of horses walking around through residential areas in the middle of the day?
Well, there's several benefits to it, you know, and you know, I've heard the argument pro and against mounted unit, and they're called the mounted unit, and they're highly trained. The horses can actually cover more ground than police officers can if they're in a cruiser. You know, the mounted unit does make its way right across the city. They pick different days to go into different areas. Certainly the children love them. It's, you know, it's good developing relationships with residents. But if someone has gone missing, we do have, you know, unfortunately, we do have a number of residents with Alzheimer's that are in the rural area, but also in the Waterdown area. And, you know, if they've gone missing, the mounted units can actually go down into ravines, and they can traverse through fields, and the officer is actually up high. So they're at a better vantage point, if you will, for being able to look for individuals.
And
so please be nice to them, because they're gorgeous.
And then what about somebody, speaking, well, roads, back to roads, the connection or Parkside between, or Clapperton's Avenue between Parkside and Dundas? I know last time we spoke, the bridge was complete, right?
The bridge is complete. You know, the road is basically done. They are waiting for inspections. Unfortunately, the, you know, inspection of the roads has been backed up because of COVID. You know, we're getting back. We're in phase 3 now, so now we're getting somewhat back to normal. And you know, please don't forget that for the last 3.5 months, COVID has really, you know, thrown a wrench into a lot of projects. Many we've been able to keep going on, but certainly when it comes to inspections, you know, for the MTO and for the different ministries, provincial ministries, and also for some of our own staff, you know, there has been a backlog right now. So I am hoping and praying that that road gets open by September, October at the latest, because we need it. We desperately need it to get the traffic off of Hollybush and, you know, give residents a faster, better access, more efficient way of getting over to Clapson Power Center.
And then speaking of roads, a couple people asked about Dundas Street, repairing it, fixing it, and then we'll move that all the way to Dundas and Highway 6. Is there an update with the overpass? Is there going to be an overpass built there?
Oh, the interchange. Okay. Yeah, because I think there's 2 different questions there, Sean. I think one has to do with the road repairs. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that perhaps what they're talking about is Dundas Street over the CNCP bridge, which is just east of Mill Street, and that going up past First Street and all the way over to Kearns Road. That is actually on the schedule for this fall to have an upgrade and paving done, and I believe it'll be from First Street all the way to Kearns Road. And so there will be some improvements there. The CNCP bridge, we are looking at doing a shave and pave just to do the top of it, because that bridge actually has to be replaced. It's owned by CNCP. It is not owned by the city, but we work together with CNCP when the bridge needs to be replaced. It will actually be coming out in its entirety, and I believe that's going to be in 2023 to 2025. Which means Dundas Street will be closed for 6 to 8 months. And I'll just let that sit there for a minute.
Wow, so better to drive through potholes for right now.
Find an alternate route, please.
Yeah.
Please find an alternate route. And the bypass, that is why we are really pushing to get it open by the end of 2021-22, so that traffic will have a way of routing around the core of Waterdown, because you won't be able to use the core of Waterdown.
And then can we get a drive-through car wash in town?
So the good news is we have a very, very patient car wash business owner who is been trying to open up a drive-through car wash, and it is coming. It is going to be on Parkside Drive, and it will be on the west end and just around where Clapson Drive comes up and connects with Parkside, so just west of Hollybush. And, you know, it's family owned, and they own a few drive-in car washes across Hamilton. They're wonderful people. They're great business owners. And like I say, they've been very patient because they've been trying for a long time. And the holdup has been all the upgrades that need to be done for the roads, the infrastructure, the new homes being built, and it's pushed back this project. But hopefully we'll be breaking ground in 2021.
Anything else exciting coming to town that you can tell us about? Any other businesses, new?
Well, you know, I'm hoping the next update that we do, I have a very exciting project, which we are just starting to, I'm not going to say nail down some agreements, but get to a point where I will be able to talk about it publicly. And, you know, it's a huge project, and it's going to be very beneficial, not only economically, but also, you know, for our youth and sports in the community. So I hate to keep doing these teasers every time we do an update, but I'm hoping that on the very next one, I will be able to at least touch on what it's all about.
Anything else that you want to chat about that you're hearing from residents that are on the topic of people?
I don't think so. I'm just kind of looking at my notes here. Oh, I will just let everyone know, if you haven't seen the posts on Facebook, that the library is now open. Okay. And all the libraries in Carlisle, Freelton, Linden, and Waterdown, they're open as of today. The last thing I do want to say, you know, I did receive quite a few emails about the debacle we had in downtown, right in front of the City Hall here, and I'm at City Hall right now, where we had some folks who were peacefully protesting, and then it turned, you know, it turned rather ugly with the defacing of public property and the painting of defund police across Main Street, held up traffic. And I want to talk a little bit about that because, you know, I absolutely support any peaceful protests, you know, absolutely. We had a great one in our own community with Black Lives Matter, and Camille, she did a fabulous job. The students came together, and, you know, we had a lot of people that joined together in Memorial Park. What I do not support is the defacing of public property, which then requires our police to come out. And, you know, again, they stood by, they were monitoring what was going on. There was a defacing of public property, and your tax dollars were then used to clean that up. You know, our police, every single day, they get out of bed and they go out the door and they say goodbye to their families, and they never know exactly what is going to happen. Hopefully they come back at the end of the day, they've had a good day at work, but they never know. They put their lives on the line for us every single day. And I will always support and have a great deal of respect and admiration for our police, our first responders, our firefighters, and our EMS. And I ask people, please, you know, protest peacefully, absolutely. But at the end of the day, we have to support our police, our men and women in blue who go out and are there for us every day, every day. You have a problem, and the police, they will be there if it is about your safety. So sorry to go on a bit of a rant, but I really get very angry when I hear people slamming the police, and there is no need for it. There is no need for it.
Excellent.
Get over yourselves, okay? Thank you.
Good note to end
Rant
on.
over.
And I have 1% battery left, so good note. Good way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So we're going out on a 1% battery. Yay.
Thank you very much, Councillor.
Thank you, Sean. Very much appreciated. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
See you later. Bye-bye.